This presentation explains the assessment data for the MCAS at Uxbridge High School for tests taken in 2016-17. We begin with looking at the percentage of proficiencies. In math and science, you'll see significant gains, particularly in physics, and the fact that math had the highest proficiency score over the last 5 years. While there was a slight dip in the English results, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, in that we had a couple of questions in a couple areas that caused us some problems in English. That being said, the number of students that scored 2 or higher, which is the measure for proficiency in terms of open response, actually went up, and it went up in all areas but technology engineering. That being said, the technology engineering results were higher than any of the last 4 out of 5 years, the exception being 2016. No students that year took the physics exam except for maybe a handful. Our CPI, which reflects the closing of gaps, increased in both math and science. When we look at the open response questions, in English in particular, we realized that there were some areas where the open response actually wasn't the challenge, but a couple of specific questions. We had 6 students at Uxbridge High School taking MCAS for the very first time, including some students from substantially separate populations. These students passed, but it did mean that our needs improvement numbers went up, our failure numbers went down, and the number of proficiencies likewise went down. However, we're pleased with the fact that we're offering the opportunity to earn a high school diploma to more students. We had a couple of technology engineering standards where more than 90% of our students got the questions right. When the state average is in the 50s and Uxbridge is in the 90s, we'll take it. And in terms of physics, the results were incredibly strong. And that's across all standards. In English, the fact that there was independent reading of drama and poetry caused problems. Most of our students read plays and read drama interactively, so seeing it as something they had to read independently was particularly challenging. And there were 2 multiple choice questions that our students did quite poorly on. In terms of certain question types, something that's consistent with both PSAT and SAT are evaluative questions. Questions that ask students to look at 2 or 3 responses and try and determine which is the most likely or best of the answers or solutions provided. That's something that our teachers are addressing in terms of their assessment design this year, particularly as we look at some of the curriculum topics where students we think can do better. Either way, we're pleased with the results, especially as we continue to offer more opportunities for students to earn diplomas, enhance the rigor, and provide opportunities for us to marry our open response practice and focus with what the performance is required on the test.